Welcome back to the Churchfront Show. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Ryland Russell. He is zooming in from Oklahoma, right? Which city in Oklahoma are you at?
Yeah, I'm in Owasso, Oklahoma, just north of Tulsa.
Awesome. So he's in Owasso. He is a worship pastor. He's going to tell us more about where he's at, where he's serving in a second. And in today's show, we're just going to talk about some innovative videography tips and tricks. I came across Ryland's YouTube channel thanks to the YouTube algorithm maybe a month or two ago. And then I just keep seeing his videos recommended in my feed. And I'm like, this guy, more people need to hear about his channel and subscribe, especially if you're in worship ministry. A lot of his content is just right up our alley here at Churchfront. So I'm excited to kind of get to know him more. Head on over to his channel to subscribe. And actually, I'll probably just search Ryland Russell. I forgot to put the actual channel link in the description of this video. But let's go ahead and we'll dive in. We'll talk about some latest happenings in the world of worship and tech and new gear coming out and ideas and stuff like that. But first, I want to hear from you, Ryland, a little bit more about kind of your background. Where are you? What you up to these days?
Awesome. Man, thanks for having me on the show. Love what you guys do. Have gotten so much from you guys over the years. I am a worship and media arts pastor here in Owasso, Oklahoma. I've been here 11 years. Before that, I was a full-time media director. Now I like to say I'm a full-time worship pastor and a full-time media director. And just living the dream, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you said, you've been at the same church for 10 years, you were saying earlier?
Yeah, 11 years. I just had a 8-week sabbatical for the 10-year.
Dude, that's awesome. They waited, man, you had to wait 10 years to get a sabbatical. That's a long time.
Usually there's a 5-year.
Yeah, or 7.
Yeah.
I think the biblical number is 7.
They've changed it to 7 since I had mine. So
yeah. How did you make the most of a sabbatical?
Well, I think the best things I could recommend is just actually taking time off and not I felt like almost I had to earn the sabbatical while I was on the sabbatical. And somebody came to me and they're like, listen, you've earned this. That's why you're getting it. So I went and visited other churches, local churches. We have so many great churches in Oklahoma. I went to some Christian counseling and just got to talk about stuff that you never really have time to even unpack as a minister. And just getting away, we actually came up to Colorado, went to Pikes Peak and spent some time there with my family. So it was great.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. So tell us about some of the projects you've been working on at your church. Give us maybe more context about your specific tech team and then challenges that you guys might have and kind of how you've been overcoming those with some of these innovations that we've been seeing on your channel.
Sure. Well, we're definitely a smaller church. We run about 300 to 400 people. I have a great tech team, a lot of younger kids that are serving on it. And, we're just now at the point where we're growing to the point where I have enough people to fill every spot. And so over the years, I've tried to think, how can I make a dynamic, great broadcast of what we're doing in the room, but with as few people as we have. And so on Sunday mornings, we have 2 cameramen, and that's just been a recent thing. And we have 1 stream director. Then we have all the other normal positions you'd have on a Sunday morning: lights, pro presenter, sound, all those things. But so I've tried to implement different gear that can kind of help us create a dynamic, motion and shots, camera angles. So it's not just static cam on the wall, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So let's dive into those things. And Adam's going to pull up your YouTube channel so we can actually see some of these cool ideas. Let's go to the cable cam idea. This is one that it's a third video. It came across my feed a couple days ago. And was really impressed. Man, we could get you I'm going to pay for YouTube Premium on your channel. We keep forgetting to do that. So we don't have to watch all these dang ads. Does your footage look like this? Actually, speaking of footage, right now I realize, did you apply the right LUT on our main camera, Adam?
I did not adjust the LUT.
Let me just double check. It might be, let me go tweak that. So while Adam's pulling that up and playing some of this video, you guys talk through that. I'll fix this camera real quick.
Yeah. So you can see I watched a little bit of it. People can go check this out on their own too, but
neither were we. But when I came
what kind of inspired this, Ryland?
I mean, honestly, I was just on Kickstarter for a different thing, and I ran across this Kickstarter program for this viral light, is what it was called. And I mean, you see the cable cams at NFL and sporting stuff, and it's like, and then I would see these churches that have these awesome jibs and stuff. And one time I was at Church on the Move. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're in Tulsa.
Mhm.
It's a great big church, and they were rocking a cable cam at that time. And I was just like, how do you do this? And I saw that and I thought, you know, it was only like $3.99, I think, at the time. I'm just going to
Oh,
back
nice.
it and see what happens. And we've used it for a couple years now. I mean, it's got its quirks for sure, and limitations, but like it's a cool shot to add in there. And so we love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I found a spot we can.
I just want to go ahead and get this out of the way and say this is
Wow.
not a necessary shot or a tool for any church live stream.
And it can hold
This
like
is-
quite a bit of weight. And we've got a GH4 on it with a gimbal. Man, I would absolutely, the perfect camera for this would be if they came out with an Osmo Pocket 3 and it had like clean video output, because then it could track, it could do all the things, and you could get it into your live feed, you know? So
Yeah. So what? Oh yeah, that looks a little better, Jake.
Well,
Good
I
work.
think, dude, I think the that LUT we did have didn't like the white backlighting. We looked like
Oh.
super desaturated. We
Yeah.
didn't have like any color in our skin. It's like we just look super pale. So hopefully there's a little bit more color. It looks a little more natural for you guys out there.
back with some drama.
Yes.
So looking at this shot that you have, like, are you able to control the? Let me pull the volume out. Are you able to control the zoom and the pan and the tilt and all of that
Can you
remotely?
put it on the screen while you talk about
Yeah.
it?
yeah, so that's one thing we tried to do, was add a follow focus motor to control zoom as well. Right now, we just have the ability with the Moza Air. It comes with a little thumb controller where you can control pan. It's got great range. And so actually our stream director that's sitting back in the booth is controlling the pan. And since ours is kind of on an angled wall that gets closer to the stage, it kind of can appear like it's getting closer. But man, I would love it if you could add a follow focus motor to it. Our gimbal couldn't handle it, is the only reason we didn't. But there's no reason you couldn't if you had a gimbal that could handle it. So we actually have a PD Movie Live Air zoom kind of follow focus geared thing on another camera. But yeah, so you know, you can always add it in post if you wanted to do that, and that definitely gets you that crane like shot that's just kind of going out over the audience. But our room is just not that big to merit, like it would just feel really weird in our space if we had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have one, you said one camera op and one video director, right?
We recently added somebody on the stage as well. So right now we have one roaming camera that's on a wireless unit with they are using a GH4 with a 70-200 from Canon.
Okay.
And they're just, you know, roaming around the room. And then we got one guy on stage that's just hand holding a GH5 with a 35-100.
Nice. So the stage was the guy on the stage was GH5.
Yeah.
And then the person on the you said it was a follow cam with a 70-200 GH4?
They're actually roaming. Yeah,
They're roaming.
roaming around the
Okay.
room.
Okay, cool. What's the actual church's YouTube, so we can see some of these angles and
if
stuff?
you just go to CBC Owasso
Okay.
is the YouTube channel,
Okay.
like Central Baptist Church.
Cool. We'll take a look.
And then
there.
our stream director is kind of a cameraman as well, because we built a pole, like you see the Savvy units that they make.
Mhm.
We built one of those, and our DVX 200 is on there, and we actually have like a LANC unit that they can control zoom, and then it's on top of a best score, you know, the like cheapy pan tilt deals, so they can kind of reposition shots and
Okay.
do that. But
Okay. Yeah, so talk us through. Adam will throw your stream on the up right now. So talk us through these different angles, the cameras that we're seeing. Oh, there's Ryland right there. So so this is your main fault right here. Stop right there. So this camera, what's this camera setup?
I'll have to pull it up on my phone. All I see on my Zoom is the logo of the Churchfront show. So hold on.
Oh, you're not seeing program?
No.
This whole time you haven't
just
seen
a
us?
Oh boy.
Wait, even when we like first got started?
Correct. It's all good.
Oh,
I'll
weird.
just pull it up right here on my YouTube.
There's probably
It'll be
some sort of
delayed,
No, it's okay. Sorry, that totally changed it. We never asked you, hey, do you actually see us on camera right now? So that's a
I
problem.
used to. Yeah.
So what would have changed? I wonder, because you would have just got we have the cam link, our program going into the cam link for Zoom for him. So that's an interesting quandary.
I mean, I can walk you through just what we have as far as camera angles.
Yeah.
you
So,
know.
okay, tell us your main camera that's pointing like, the shot, the tight medium shot of like you on stage as a worship leader. What camera setup is that?
That's the DVX 200, and we got that one. It's kind of a broadcast style camera that has a micro four thirds sensor in it, and we're all Panasonic land. So I just wanted something that would match and kind of be the similar camera, but it has the ability to have LANC, LANC, or whatever. I don't know how you say that. So
What is that?
So what is that camera?
No, LANC.
Oh, that's just like remote zoom and iris and.
Okay.
It's just that port. That's what they call it. So.
Oh, okay. So that camcorder. Let's pull up that model camcorder, the DVX 200.
Yeah.
And pull that just so we can see some specs and what he's talking about here. So this is a camcorder. Usually I kind of like to throw shade at camcorders because I feel like because their sensors are usually really small. But so this guy though, you're saying it's got a micro four thirds sensor, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And the color probably matches well to the GH4s and 5s.
Yep. You can get it pretty stinking close. It's not exact, but they have some built-in like looks that you can apply to it to match like the natural profile on your GH5 supposedly,
Okay.
So,
dude, put it. Is that on B&H? Yeah, pull it up on B&H. What website were you on?
Just the first one.
Don't click on the ads. No, not there. Actually, I guess that is B&H.
This is an ad and it's B&H.
Oh, dude, your dark mode on Chrome is what throws me off. I'm like, what websites is he using? So, okay. And what's the lens that it comes with? Like, what are you getting for focal length?
I don't know. It is variable aperture a little bit, so that's kind of annoying. But we've just have it set where at the tightest, it's at the right gain, And so it's kind of annoying because you have to talk in like camcorder terms as far as gain instead of ISO and that kind of stuff. But it's fulfilled that need that we have to have like somebody as a central operator that can adjust shots. Yeah. But, remotely. So
is that the camera that's on a tripod with the long stick on it for someone to control? Or no, is this a different camera?
Yeah, we just got it mounted on a big steel pole, right there in the middle of the sound booth.
And then, but your operators control with like, dude, that's the thing. That's the other thing that jumped out when I was watching your channel. Is it's such a funny, simple idea. You might not think it's that great of an idea, but it's like, see, or Adam might be able to pull up the video on his computer, but it was this long. What are you using to do that? Which video was it? Was it a tech booth remodel tour ideas for your church? That one?
Probably, yeah. Where you can kind of get an idea of that center cam that we have.
Yeah, well, this is a great idea because is it your video director who can move it around when they need to? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right there.
So
see that big long stick. Oh, but that's on the. Is that the GH or no? What's the camera?
That looks like the GH4, the 5 with the 72 to 100, the like big long white lens, right?
Or the 70 to 200.
So you're talking about the one that has the long pole that comes down.
Yeah.
For the handle.
Yeah.
So that is the roaming camera. Basically what happens is after worship, they'll come up and mount that camera right there. And they're just doing head to toe follow cam now with that 70 to 200 during the sermon.
Oh, okay. But then what's the camcorder doing? Just kind of staying wider?
The camcorder, usually we have set on a tight shot for like when he's standing at the table reading off his iPad, we've got it preset to where it'll be in a good spot for lower thirds and that kind of thing.
Okay.
I mean, best case scenario, when we built this, that's one of my regrets is I wish we would have put 2 poles instead of just 1 pole. So we could have somebody sitting there doing follow cam on tight and follow cam head to toe. But our booth really isn't quite big enough to do that. You know, maybe when we get to move broadcast to a separate room or something, we can think about doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that big what is that handle thing? Is it actually for video or something else?
It's just a piece of conduit from Lowe's that I just attached to, the little handle that you get with it. So the only reason I did that is so our operators can just pan back and forth with their hand at a lower spot, so it's more comfortable.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's
Dang.
cool.
And you do have to be careful with a long pan arm like that. You know, it's more prone to shake and stuff if you're actually like not careful. So
Yeah. Yep. Did you already cover? I think you said you have some devices you're using for like remote focus and zooming. Did we already talk
Sure.
about that?
No.
Okay.
yeah, so I would say this, as far as adding motion to shots, the things that I've done that I have found success in is, one, we have two different 48-inch sliders that we use.
Okay.
One is on the drums and it just loops back and forth continuously. And we have another one on the front row that
What
just
are the
loops back and
models?
forth.
What are the model sliders you're using? And do you like them?
Yeah, I love them, man. They're cheap. They're GVM, Great Video Maker, 48-inch sliders, and that's the video on my channel. If you look, that says
Yeah,
I got
okay, we're gonna
duped
get-
by Kickstarter. Yeah,
Yeah, I think we just ordered one of these for ours. We're gonna put, but you didn't get duped by these people, right? It was a different one. You
No,
okay,
no.
okay, because So this is the one. Yeah, this is the one we're gonna get because we want a nice kind of back of the room wide shot that's like just going slowly back and forth, like, you know, for that wide congregation establishing shots and stuff. So
yeah. And I would say we've tried it like that before. 48 inches is a long ways, but unless you have something in the foreground, it's still kind of hard to see that it's moving a lot. So
Yeah.
as long as you mount it low enough to where like people's heads are kind of in the shot,
yep.
then you'll be good.
Or you just kind of zoom in a little bit tighter, right? If you want, like,
Yeah.
maybe get like, and that's a thing. It being in the tech booth, it wouldn't be hard for one of our peep guys to like, you know, oh, let's just like frame this a little bit differently. To get a little bit more of that like zooming behind the congregation shot or kind of like a dolly simulation or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other camera that we have that's kind of doing something on its own is over in the corner of our sanctuary, and it's a G7 with a 35 to 100 from Panasonic, and it's just got the PD Movie Live Air 2. It's the Zoom model of their kind of follow focus gears, and so it runs off of a little iPod that's connected to it with Bluetooth, and you just program the endpoints on the app, and it literally just zooms in, zooms out, over and over and over, and that goes over like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So, you know, that lens is not par focal, so we have it stopped down to like f4 point something, or not
Yeah.
up to 5.6.
Yeah.
But that helps a lot. But it just adds another shot where it looks like somebody's actually, you know, operating a camera and it's not just sitting over there.
Yeah.
So
That was what was the model of that device again?
that was the PD Movie Live Air 2,
Okay.
and it's the Zoom, you know,
Awesome.
model.
Adam's pulling that up for us here. So $300.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty reasonable.
I think there's one that comes with like a cage for it and one that just comes with like a pole. So just
Yep.
get whatever you need.
Yeah, so you just have to kind of, it sounds like, yeah, you'd have to have your f-stop pretty high in terms of, you know, like 4 or above so that your focus isn't all kind of weird, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And certain lenses are better for that than others. Like we have a 12 to 35, like probably people are familiar with, but it's not linear on its zoom range. And so like it would zoom a lot faster at the first and then have like a slower time. And then at the end, it's zooming a lot faster.
Oh,
So you kind of
interesting.
need to look at the markings of your lens
Yeah.
to see the linearness of the zoom.
Oh, I never even thought about that, about how, yeah, the speed will change as you zoom and stuff. Wow. Cool. And then did we talk about the slide pod?
We did not.
What was the slide pod? Was something you guys use, right?
We don't. I've thought about it. They just
okay.
came out with a new model. It's just basically a pole that does the same thing. But what's kind of cool about it is it interfaces with one of their gimbals, and you can do like more complicated moves instead of just up and down or left to right.
Can you pull it up?
with some pan?
Yeah.
It supposedly can like go up while the gimbal is doing this other thing, and I don't know. I mean,
Well, here's
the
like
thing about doing all this is like there's so many more things to go wrong as well.
Totally. Yeah, you got to think about like because a lot of these rigging things need batteries or power or, you know, the remote operation. So it's like for us, all of our cameras are completely stationary except for like this slider thing might be the first thing that we actually have regular movement going on. But I don't want it to be like having to worry about batteries and stuff. So we're going to try to rig it up with like all dedicated power and stuff like that too.
Totally. That's how we have ours. We've had our sliders running for probably 3 years now, I think. I mean, never had any issues with them. So
yeah, dude, that slide pod is pretty amazing. Wow.
It's pretty sly.
Pretty sly. So, but is it, but it's not even, it's just a Kickstarter. It's not even really released yet, right?
yeah, I mean, Mo's is one of those companies that has so many other products out there already like being distributed that I'd trust them a little more, but it is weird that it's a Kickstarter.
Yeah. Well, they just want to validate the idea of making this thing. So,
and they already have one model of it. This is the second iteration of it. So
yeah. Yep. Well, guys, if you're just tuning in, you're hearing us chat with or watching us chat with Ryland Russell. He's a YouTube creator. Go check out his YouTube channel. Just search, subscribe. He's coming out with great videos on worship and tech tips and things like that. So things that are very near and dear to my heart. And yeah, and he's just, when I come across his videos, it's just like, man, these are like some great, amazing ideas. Sometimes it's so easy. Probably why a lot of you guys watch Churchfront. It's a lot of reasons why I watch other channels too. It's just like you just kind of run out of idea when you're kind of stuck in your own mind, in your own world. So it's fun to kind of get out there and see what's going on. So check out Ryland's channel. Also, this week, I do want to mention we are running a special on our Mixing for Worship course. Adam, tell us about that Mixing for Worship course.
This Mixing for Worship course is going to be pretty epic. I mean, the last Mixing for Worship course, I'll say, was good. It was like, it's just all the live mixing techniques of, how do you mix a full band? How do you specifically get into EQing and compressing, all the drums, bass, guitars, vocals, some parallel compression, like all that live mixing stuff that you have to do. But this is like, I guess it's kind of more like a masterclass in the sense that it's like way more comprehensive. We talk about like the whole mindset of being an audio engineer. Like I think it's going to be probably module 4 before we get to actual mixing.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you set your stage properly?
Sound reinforcement, miking,
how do you
placement.
Place a micro? Like, there's so many things. I would say that like we're getting into like, how do you get that 80% of making your sound better before you even touch a soundboard?
Yep.
So it's like so much more than just how do you EQ and compress some things. It's like, how do you become an audio engineer? Earn that title a little bit.
And a leader. Like churches need more leaders in their tech booths, people who are thinking ahead, really setting up their worship team for success, and knowing how to manage all the dynamics of what happens in the tech booth on a Sunday morning. It's just we went down the rabbit hole as we thought about making some major upgrades to this course and improving it. We're just like, man, we got to add this, we got to talk about this, because really we want it to be like the most thorough, fast track guide for worship leaders, for tech team leaders. There's the course right there. Adam's got you can go check out the curriculum for it. It's pretty thorough. I think we've actually added it more and redone the curriculum even than what you see there.
Yeah.
So lots of cool stuff going on with that. So go to worshipministryschool.com/mixing-4-worship. I'm going to put the link down here too. I realize some of these in this description of the show notes here, I can just pop it in here. I think if I edit the video, so I'll just go Mixing for Worship course. And then I think if you guys were to refresh your stream in a second, you should see that in the description. So go check out that Mixing for Worship course. It is on a discount for till Friday night. So it's going to be fun times. Lots of people already signed up. So, all right. What else? What's going on? Any other future projects or ideas you're working on right now, Ryland?
Well, yeah, we are trying to update our key lighting in our worship center. Right now we have all old Source 4 juniors. And so we're looking at like, LED stuff, like maybe the Chave R2X washes that are zoomable mixed in with some type of, color temperature controllable LED, but it's still ellipsoidal.
Yeah.
It's going to be expensive though. So
dude, I don't know. It's hard to justify paying that much for key lights when you really can just get a good, even if you just get a single color LED, like that's maybe a 5600 Kelvin daylight or something like that, doesn't really change. Because for me, it's like, man, my key lights never really have to change a whole ton. And then, but it would be cool if you got some maybe more backlight variation and stuff like that, you know, to add more.
Yeah.
colors.
What do you guys use for key light there?
We have some just plain old Fresnels and ellipsoidals. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like we don't really do much fancy stuff. And we actually do have some movers that we started using more effectively for key lights. I need to make a video about this because I pretty much like with the same exact lighting fixtures, like redid our whole, like the way we design lights in the church. And it really made some significant differences. It's like, it's one thing to get the right fixtures, but you just got to know how to like point them and light them properly, light your subjects, and it's just night and day difference.
Yeah. Well, we have a bunch of source forges, and some of them are starting to go out. And then we were also kind of mixing in some other intelligent lights and trying to match them with like glass gobos that would get it to the right color temperature. And that's just, it's starting to annoy me a lot. So
Oh yeah.
we'll see.
Yep.
So what's the reason for wanting moving fixtures for key lights?
I would only get a few of those just for, special things where we have to highlight a certain scene on another area. We do some big productions at Christmas, and those have just been really nice to have, to bring down some spotlights on certain areas, or, you never know when you'll need it. So it'd be nice to have just a few of them.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're going to be transitioning pretty soon into some Q&A because we want to spend a bit more time on Q&A. So if you're in the chat, go ahead and leave your questions. I see actually a couple questions already. One that's actually related to lighting, good segue, from David. He said, weird question. I'm currently running wireless DMX for less than a universe of DMX channels, and I'm currently working on a project that would go over 5 universes. Should I switch to ArtNet or ACN? SACN. That's a great question. I don't really know much about those protocols because I never have worked with universes or systems that are that complex lighting wise. Do you have any opinion about that?
I mean, I'm pretty sure both run. You can do both with Light Key and a Grand MA and the other M series, the Obsidian control. Mm-hmm. And I think that they both run over CAT, which is nice. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do you have anything, Ryland, you want to share?
Man, we're running 2 universes off of Jan's Vista, so that's it's above my pay grade.
Yeah. So sorry we can't help you much there, David. But trying to see, no other questions out. I'm not seeing any other questions yet. But guys, go ahead and leave those down below in the comments for sure. So, oh man. What else, guys?
Someone asked, what do you think about the M50 Cannon?
I think it's a good camera. It's a good, we've used them for like webcams. I know Luke has one of them. Good YouTube video camera. It's probably similar. It's similar to like the A6400, kind of in that range, right? I don't know if the sensor is smaller. I think it's comparable. It might even be the same exact APS-C. So Canon M50, I think it's pretty good. I think it's a good value for the price.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your dream camera, Ryland? Like, if you were to like deck out your church with like, budget doesn't matter. Maybe somewhat reasonable. Maybe somewhat reasonable budget, but like,
okay, somewhat reasonable. Yeah, if somebody came to me and said, we have $100,000 for you to upgrade, there's a church you guys should check out their stream. It's North Church out of Oklahoma City, and they are using all like C200s and that kind of stuff, similar to some of the other places you've been. But man, it just looks so good. And, there's some downsides to it as well. But like, the C300 realm, all that kind of stuff would be so cool to just have that dynamic range, but also, there's a lot of benefits, but it's super expensive. So
yes,
for us, like, it's just like to get telephoto with full frame like that just starts getting so expensive. And then you're talking servo stuff. Like you might as well just like say, I need a whole lot of money. So.
Yep. Yeah. I think the C200s are really a great, they're a great value camera for, and it's still pretty expensive for about the $5,000 mark. But like when it comes to obviously the lenses you can use with them, all the ND filters, all the things you want, a cinema camera, and then the color that it has when you just apply the regular Rec 709 LUT to it, like that's what we do for filming our courses. We have a C200. We don't color grade at all. Like it's just like we literally just cut the course how we need to, and it's done. So I think it's a great value. C300, I don't know. I do love that camera too. That's this camera right here that I'm talking to. I'll cut to it. Yeah, like it's amazing camera. And this is a 50 millimeter f1.2 lens, and I'm just a massive fan with the color, the dynamic range, all that stuff. Is it worth $6,000 more than a C200? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I mean, especially for a stream, like this is the GH5. Like we don't have it like super dialed in, but
that looks good though. You know,
looks
the
pretty
good
good.
old GH5, man.
Yeah.
Oh, we always forget to change your we gotta save that preset on the camera
Yeah.
to change it to the right aspect ratio. You're in like more cinematic mode there with your
Yeah.
little letter boxes.
it's
So-
all right. Are you sure that's not just like the framing?
No, it is. Look, see this black line?
Oh yeah,
You're at cinema 4K instead of 4K. Yeah,
cinematic.
very cinematic, bro.
I like this. I like this camera. It looks good.
I would do like I think if South Fellowship, if we could like snap our fingers and have more cash for cameras, I'd be like either all Pocket 6K cameras or C200s. Those are still I think my favorite go-to for like a nice super 35 millimeter camera setup. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do love the stabilization stuff though for our handheld guys. So you'd have to have something in there mixed in with those
yep.
to kind of do some of that.
Yeah, that's true. The C200 has no stabilization, but the C300 has digital stabilization, which isn't even as good as like the actual in-body stabilization on some of these other cameras.
We're not even talking about the Sony
I know.
A7s and the
Yeah.
FX whatevers. Like those are great too.
Yeah.
I'm not a Sony guy, so I don't know.
Yep. That actually, man, if we had a couple of those Sonys, man, that'd be awesome. But all the glass and stuff you'd have to get.
Right.
So, all right, I think some
Yeah.
questions have started to roll in here. So we've got, control question. First from Jason, are you guys using any control systems? An easy way for someone to come in, hit a button that turns on projectors, monitors, etc. I've sent up a Logitech Harmony remote, but... And then he just ends the sentence there. So control systems for our tech booths. So we have we do have like a power on, power off sequence in our tech booth. And then we've been overhauling a lot. We're starting to use a lot more Stream Decks for things in there, but nothing like one button turns on everything. Like it still takes a couple switches, one for video rack, one for sound, and then all the computers have to be turned on.
Yeah.
Most of them actually are always on anyway. We generally actually rarely turn our computers off.
Yeah, I mean, with the Stream Deck, you could do a multi-action that you could, like, send a MIDI cue that, opens up a certain sound. It basically is the question, like, how do I leave for a couple days when children's ministry needs an event to happen or something like that?
Yeah.
But I would say, yeah, with the Stream Deck, you could send a MIDI note that would like open a certain scene on the soundboard, simultaneously open up a light cue, a light scene. Turning on projectors, you'd have to like do something fancy with that because you're like turning it on.
Yep. Yeah, I don't see a quick way around that.
Yeah.
Other question that came in: how do you pick the correct f-stop from Music and Leadership? So f-stop is another way you can call aperture, and I forget why they call it. There's f-stop and t-stop depending on the lenses that you're using, but it's really has to do with how much light are you working with and how much depth do you want to see in your image. So if you really want a nice blurry background to your image, you lower the f-stop number to like f1.2, like this lens, and it's probably at f2 or something like that right now. And there's a nice blurry background, kind of like behind me, everything's kind of, this light's blurred out. But also it brightens it. So you have to kind of take that into consideration. If you might brighten it too much, then your image will get overexposed, and then you have to kind of compensate by reducing ISO or increasing shutter speed or something like that. Usually you want to set shutter speed at, double your frame rate, and then just work with ISO or something like that if you have to compensate for the light for f-stop. So that's how I set it. If I want a lot of depth, low f-stop, and then if I want like more of a landscape, a lot of things in focus, then a higher number, but then you're going to have to, or higher f-stop, but then you're going to have to compensate by boosting your ISO or gain.
Yeah. Which is one of the reasons I like Micro Four Thirds for broadcast stuff, is because you can get the same amount of light, but less depth of field. That was one of the complaints of the guys that I've heard that are running like C200s is it's really hard to keep things in focus, Yeah. And so.
Yeah. But they could just stop down more, right?
But then it's pointless, right? It's like, why?
Yeah,
like, why spend
true.
all that money if you're going to do that? If you're going to stop down to F8 and boost your ISO, like you might as well have just gotten.
Or they could use, I'm trying to think. I mean, to me, most cameras, maybe if it's like a follow cam, like keep it at like F4 or something like that. I feel like that's high enough. And then, but if I were on stage getting creative shots and stuff, I would have that pretty dang low. Like, and then even if it was down to like 2 or 1.8 or whatever, and it was overexposing, what's cool about these cinema cameras is the ND filters that you can apply to it. So you don't have to, like, you're like, oh, I can't lower my ISO anymore. You can just put an ND filter on it. Adam, your turn.
To pick a question?
Yeah.
Is the course for beginner who know nothing? Is I'm not sure which course for beginners.
I think she asked about getting started with keyboard for worship. Are there like good like beginner keyboard YouTube channels? There's got to be a ton of YouTube channels. Just look up worship keyboard tutorials on YouTube. There's a ton of them. Worship tutorial, or what's it? That Worship Online has a ton of tutorials.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that.
Those guys are cool.
And I purchased the course from David Santasteven. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah,
he
I've heard of him.
podcast.
Yeah, Beyond Sunday.
He has, and he's got like learn worship keys, and it was really good. I mean, I still don't know it because I didn't do it, but
yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's see. Companion has modules for a few projectors. I think I've seen them for Barco when I've opened up the software. So if you happen to have a $3 million projector, you could control it with Companion. Yeah. What else? I think that is. Oh, they're asking about C200 MK2.
The Mark II. I've never heard of the rumors about the Mark II. I was just looking at that. That would be cool though. If they had better frame rates, and I don't know, if they just took the sensor. Honestly, all it would be like get a C70. Like that would, to me, the C70 kind of rendered the C200 a little obsolete. Even though you have some of the nicer connectivity, I wish they would just put the same sensor as that in a C200, and that'd be perfect, because then you could have the full cinema camera body form factor and all that stuff with the better, basically the same sensor as the C300. Yeah.
This is a question I have for Ryland. What are you guys streaming at? Are you doing like 1080p, 24, 30?
Okay, yeah, we're doing 1080 at 2997 1080p, and we are streaming right now still through a service that sends it on to Restream, and then Restream on out from there. But I did pre-order the HD webcaster or whatever from Blackmagic, just to get rid of our software-based one, because we're doing everything else. Literally, all it's doing is just sending it to Restream. It's silly.
Yeah.
Mimo Live is what we've been using. It's kind of like Ecamm.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you switch with? Because it sounds like you got a lot of cameras going on in your setup.
Yeah, ours is weird because we bought the Studio HD a long time ago, and I didn't want to give up cams whenever we added the Decklink Duo to start doing lower thirds. So we have 2 of the ATEMs, Studio HDs. So we have 8 cams going into one, and then master out of that goes into our second ATEM, which sends to our projector and hallways, and also adds the lower thirds. And we also have in it an Apple TV that we can use. Like, for instance, coming up, we're going to be Facebook videoing with some missionaries, and we can just go from a phone straight onto there. And then we also have a full size video output from ProPresenter going into it as well. So, I mean, it's not your typical thing, but it was better than buying like a 2ME, So, because I'm hoping, like, why can't they make this ATEM Mini Extreme into like a Studio HD type form factor? Like that, that's what we need.
Yep. I bet they will. I'd give it, hopefully. I think it's just not their priority. They probably have more people just demanding, like, I want the ATEM Mini, but with more inputs and outputs, and then they'll do that. And then eventually they're like, oh, now we can actually put all this technology into the Television Studio HD. It'd be cool if they did that. I wish it could be 4K too, Like,
yeah.
I feel like we could get to the place where we could start streaming 4K.
What I don't understand is the ATEM Mini ISO Extreme Mega Pro thing with HDMI inputs. Like,
yeah,
if you have that many cameras and HDMI isn't supposed to go more than 30 feet, it's like you don't have that many cameras that close together.
I think they're actually making those more for like what we're doing right now compared to like what churches do. I don't know.
Yeah, they advertise it almost like gamers putting their systems in there, and then also a camera for the gamer to all like get together and do these things. I saw stuff about that, and I'm like, that would make sense.
Yeah, we got to remember Blackmagic's not making stuff just for the church. Like, they have a bunch of other markets and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, cool, guys. Let's see. The questions, everybody's a little quiet today in the chat. I'm not seeing a ton of questions. I saw one person did ask for a recommendation on a good camcorder. Well, the one that Ryland uses is good. It's a $3,000 camcorder, so not super easy on the budget. I'm trying to think of like one that's good for like in the $1,000 range. Sony probably makes some good ones.
What? I mean, I used to use the Canon XA11.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Canon XA11, because it's got, that's a $1,100 camcorder but it's got a tiny little sensor. So again, don't expect amazing performance, but you get the zoom. So check out the Canon XA11 if you're considering a camcorder, but I would recommend getting an A6400 with a decent lens. You'll get way better performance. Most of the time, you don't need all the crazy zoom control and stuff like that. So,
yeah. There was another question here. A quick one, I think. Would you recommend, from Austin, re-uploading a trimmed sermon in a week of just trimming the live stream in the YouTube editor? I use the YouTube editor.
Yeah, me too.
Because
it keeps all the views.
Yeah, you just go into the live section of YouTube, then you open up the editor, trim it, and then it saves it as a new video in your library.
Oh, you can, yeah. Well, I think they're doing away with that feature soon, though. The saving as a new video. Usually, they'll trim that same video will just be trimmed, but it'll maintain all the view count and all that stuff.
Oh,
and engagement.
At least in the Mission Lakewood account, it always makes me do a new video. It's like
weird.
The option is save as new.
Oh, interesting.
So that's
maybe
what
it's
I do.
different. YouTube's weird, finicky with different channels and stuff like that. But like this stream, all I do is go on and I just chop off the beginning and end, and it's the same video.
Yeah.
So cool. Okay, now the questions are coming in. Now that we're wrapping up here. So there was a question about keys, Sunday keys, and main stage. I need to take a restroom break because I drank my whole bottle of water. So you guys talk about that while I go to the restroom.
Yeah. I don't... I think, my church, the guy that runs keys, he just went with Worship Essentials, I think, because he wanted the tonic pad, and Sunday Keys didn't have that yet at the point when he was making the decision. So I think they're both great. I love David. I love Abel. Both make awesome products. Either one is fine. What do you guys use, Ryland, for keys?
Yeah, so there's a video on my channel where I show like our piano setup. It's a gutted thing, and then I added all our main stage rig in it, and we love
nice.
it. We've got an older lady that I shouldn't say that on air. We've got an awesome pianist that
experienced
plays for us. That's right, and but she loves sheet music, and so we've incorporated like dual screens in there for her and all this stuff. But we use main stage with mostly Abel's stuff from whichever one that is, worship, whatever. And it works great, you know?
Yeah.
We actually just have like a little Casio keyboard that's weighted and she likes it. I mean, it's just a controller. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think I found this video here. So this looks pretty slick. So there's a shot of it. It looks like, oh no. Is this your... Yeah, this is your team. You guys are in like an old building that's like all brick with pillars, and you're doing like a live event of some kind in the opening shot of your keys video.
Oh, no, that was just an example. I think that's actually who sings For God So Loved.
Holy
Water.
We the Kingdom, yeah.
Kingdom.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
That one guy looked like him though.
Oh no, the one guy did look like he. That's why I thought it was your team. But
That's
it
funny.
wasn't the experienced lady on the keys. It was like a different guy. So I was like, it's probably not them. But yeah, I see. Yeah, we do the same thing at South, I think.
Yep.
Gutted keyboard.
I like how
Kinda-
they put the monitor thing in the piano too. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, Ryland said there's 2 monitors, 2 screens. See that?
That's what we need to do.
That's pretty slick.
We love it because she
Yeah.
likes to be able to see 2 sheets of music at the same time on
Yeah.
one screen, and then on the other screen she's got main stage open, and also like usually just like planning center. Where she
okay,
can see the
because we're about
plan.
to do the similar thing with getting a dedicated main stage computer. So is that a laptop? What computer are you using right there?
It's like a 2012 Mac Mini that I upgraded the memory on.
Okay. Oh, and then she just has a mouse sitting on top of the piano right there. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And what about a keyboard?
That is a Casio CDP 130.
The computer keyboard. Like how do you like type things into the computer?
It's just a wireless one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't know you can open up Planning Center and open up the Music Stand app in a browser. Everybody kind of, at least I thought forever, it just had to be on an iPad.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll open up in Chrome, you know, and so that's what we do.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, you could do a lot. You could probably fit 3 screens in there if you wanted.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would do that, but if you're like MDing from keys,
Yeah.
you might want to be able to see more stuff.
Well,
that's going on.
imagine if you had a couple screens there, and even if you're doing like screen sharing with some of the some production computers or something like that. Dude, that's one thing. I keep geeking out over screen sharing with our computers and how
every
you can
screen is
control-
shared in that tech booth.
I can control every computer in our church, like from where I sit on Sunday. So pretty excited about that.
It's kind of life churchy.
Yeah. KVM.
Yeah. Yeah, this is so cool, man. I love this, having those monitors right in there. I mean, the gutted piano thing, like, I think, more at first it was kind of just like, this looks cool, and it helps our members think that there's still a piano on stage, even though it's just a keyboard. But being able to hide all that stuff, like the interface and the screens and the monitor control all in there, like, just cleans up your stage so much. I love it. Looks good.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dos Bros Photos asked, does Churchfront have Ableton broadcast templates? No and yes. So we have our broadcast mix mastery course linked below in the description. And then when you join that course, we kind of teach you how to build your own template, but then we also have a template that you could use. So, but we don't just sell the template separate. So check it out.
We sell the education, and it comes with a template.
Yes. Very important distinction.
Yeah.
Well, great, guys. This was fun, Ryland. Thanks so much for taking the time out of the day to hop on, chat tech.
Dude,
hopefully sometime.
thank you so much.
Dude, you're in Oklahoma. You should just come here sometime. It's close.
Not that far.
No, we're not. I need to go to there, too, to meet up with Cade and maybe the guys at Transformation or something like that sometime soon. But
there's so many amazing churches in Tulsa. Like, we are surrounded with just so many awesome places and guys that are doing what we're doing. And, so yes, you should come to Tulsa sometime.
Yeah. So guys, go check out Ryland's YouTube channel. And I realized, this beautiful thing where I can just go and I can go into YouTube's editor and I can find Ryland's channel like what I'm doing right now. And, I can paste it in the description. So I'm going to do that right now. Just search Ryland Russell or go to the link that's going to be in the description of this video and subscribe. Let's try to get you, dude. What are you at? Like 600 subscribers or something like that? What
420.
420 subscribers.
This is just a number, guys.
Just a number. It's just like, hey, man, it's what a great is 422 right now. That was planned for 420. So I'll go ahead.
It's Earth Day.
Yeah,
that's right.
We are in Colorado, man. So take that for whatever it's worth. But so go subscribe. Let's get him to 1,000 subscribers. And
you know what, guys? Check this out. You ready for this?
Oh, you did it. You showed them how to do it.
This is how you do it.
Perfect. We are subscribed. I think that's the only channel Churchfront is subscribed to now. So
I'm on my personal.
Oh, your personal. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And then also, guys, if you have multiple accounts, just go to the other account and then also subscribe.
Yep. Just duplicate.
I've created like 300 accounts so far, so that's...
There we go. Oh, that's half of them. Your mom is the other 300.
That's right.
Yeah, cool.
That's right.
Cool. Thanks so much, Ryland. Keep up the great work, man. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, so you receive notifications of all of our latest videos, and check out the links down below in the description for all the resources we talked about in this episode of the Churchfront podcast. See you next time.